Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Battling 5 Dealership Service Defection Points with DriveSure. My name is Bill Springer, and I'll be your host for today, along with my colleague, Chris Carlucci. First, a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded, and all attendees will be muted. We welcome your questions. If you'd like to ask one, please enter it in the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. We will answer all questions at the end of our time today. So let's go ahead and get started with our agenda. Chris, if you could share our first slide. First, we'll provide a brief introduction to our company and DriveSure, and then Chris will talk about how DriveSure works to keep your customers coming back to your dealership again and again. Next, I'll identify the 5 critical defection points in your service customer's ownership lifecycle, and then we will review our tips and recommendations to help ensure you retain your customers at each of these critical defection points. And finally, we'll answer any questions you may have. So let's dive right in. Since our founding in 1947, Krex has been proudly serving new car dealerships throughout the United States. And it's been almost 20 years since we launched our DriveSure brand. DriveSure makes it easy for new car dealerships to offer unbeatable vehicle maintenance and bring customers back for service, tires, and unplanned repairs. By providing a unique suite of benefits with each oil change, DriveSure dealerships stand out from the crowd and create lasting relationships with their customers. For vehicle owners, DriveSure benefits provide peace of mind on the road and make it easier than ever to resolve unplanned repairs and tire issues. Now, let me introduce my co-host today, Chris Carlucci, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Chris is going to spend a few minutes providing you with a more detailed overview on how DriveSure can help your dealership become the only one your customers depend on for maintenance, tires, and repairs.
Thank you, Bill. Dealers we work with typically answer yes to one or all of these 3 questions. Are too many of your customers being lost to quick lubes and independent garages? Are your customers thinking of your dealership when they need tires? And are tow trucks dropping your customers' vehicles off at the competition? We'll talk about how to address these questions later in this session. For now, it's important to note that each one of these defection points comes with a common theme: urgency. When it comes to maintenance, urgency is often determined by individual beliefs and perceptions. For example, 2 people in the same household driving the same car will have completely different opinions on when and where to service that vehicle. This lack of urgency causes inaction in many cases, or even more concerning, defers maintenance, which creates aftermarket opportunities when unplanned issues arise. When it comes to tire issues and those unplanned repairs I just mentioned, an immediate urgency is created, causing the vehicle owner to take action now. Items such as tires, batteries, check engine lights, or brake problems cannot be deferred and must be acted on immediately. Often, these actions are driven by convenience and proximity to the breakdown location, as there may be few alternatives available to resolve the situation or to compare prices. It's in these situations where DriveSure shines. We're here to help make your customers say, wow, this is so much more than an oil change. Because when they think this way, customers come back on time for scheduled maintenance and to renew DriveSure benefits. And when they need to use DriveSure benefits, they come back to you for that too. DriveSure empowers you to offer a unique set of renewable benefits with every maintenance service, setting you apart from the competition and helping you build long-term relationships with your customers. Dealerships we work with define their DriveSure renewable period to align with the recommended maintenance service interval, with the most common interval being about every 180 days. Now, there are 4 components to DriveSure, so let's start with the most frequently used benefit, road hazard tire protection. This benefit provides complimentary tire repairs and up to $150 towards qualifying unplanned tire purchases, all performed at your dealership. It also gives you a great incentive to inspect and document every tire rolling into your service drive. Having this benefit improves your tire penetration, drives customers back to you for tire issues, and keeps your dealership top of mind for routine tire replacements. Next is our dealer loyal roadside assistance. Traditional roadside assistance gives your customers peace of mind while on the road, helping them deal with unplanned issues involving batteries, tires, brakes, check engine lights, and more. We go one step further by not only getting customers back the help they need, but also bringing them directly to your dealership when they need a tow, so they receive the repairs that only you should provide. If you need to hang on to your customer's vehicle to make repairs after they've used roadside assistance, we'll pick up the tab for a rental, loaner car, or rideshare service through the emergency alternate transportation benefit. This allows you to get your customers back on the road and keep them happy. Providing these benefits falls short when customers don't know anything about them. DriveSure gives you a way to reach your customers exactly when they need to know about them in a personalized way, educating them about their benefits through communication methods they prefer. In summary, DriveSure provides up to $380 in value with each activation. Customers get the value that they need, and you get the opportunity to service their vehicle needs. Now that you have a better understanding of what DriveSure can do, I'll turn the presentation back over to Bill to introduce the 5 dealership service defection points. Bill?
Thank you, Chris. Well, you already know that getting customers to come back to you for service and repairs is critical to your dealership success. Not only do you generate significant revenue and profit from your service department, it's also much more likely that the customer will purchase their next vehicle from your dealership as well. Consider the main phases of dealership service work after a vehicle purchase. Every successful dealership effectively nurtures its customers through each of these phases and ultimately remains the go-to service provider every step of the way. During this journey, though, your customers will encounter several moments where they are most likely to defect and go elsewhere for service. Mastering these critical moments is the key to maximizing retention and profit. So let's break down each of these defection points, and then later on we'll share some tips to help you overcome common challenges for each. Some of these defection points, such as the first service appointment, occur at very specific times in the ownership life cycle. For new customers, this is obviously the very beginning of phase 1. For the expiration of factory paid maintenance, if any, and the expiration of the factory warranty, this is typically in phase 2, usually between years 2 and 4. Tire replacement and unplanned repairs are unique because these can occur anytime in the ownership life cycle, making it essential that your dealership has a plan to remain top of mind so that the vehicle owner is more likely to return to your dealership whenever one of these unexpected events occurs. The very first critical defection point is the all-important first service visit. In a recent study by Cox Automotive, they found that 72% of customers opt for a third-party mechanics after the vehicle purchased. Clearly, this is not a promising statistic for dealership service departments, but improving that first service visit return rate is critical on so many levels. Not only can it cost you financially if your first service rate doesn't meet the metric established by your manufacturer, but it drastically diminishes your long-term retention rates. Vehicle owner confusion on timing of first service visit also contributes to this problem. Since the days of the old 3 months or 3,000 miles service interval, things have become more confusing for your customers. The owner's manual may say one thing, the dashboard service light may indicate another, the salesperson might have a recommendation based upon the customer's driving habits, and the customer may have their own preconceived notions. What may seem like a clear recommendation might not be so clear to the customer. And even if we are successful at getting customers to return for that first service visit, some new car owners simply don't come back for maintenance when they're supposed to. If you only see them once per year when you should be seeing them every 6 months, that's a lot of lost revenue. In addition, getting used car buyers to return for that first service visit can be especially challenging, but can result in more immediate parts and service revenue, as used cars are typically older and more likely to need tires, repairs, and maintenance in less time than new cars. A second critical defection point that typically occurs early in the ownership life cycle is when factory paid maintenance expires. Not all manufacturers provide paid maintenance with vehicle purchases, and some may only do it for specific models or promotions. When it is provided and designed right, it can be a great retention tool. If your vehicle manufacturer provides factory paid maintenance, this period is a crucial time because it provides a unique opportunity to nurture and grow the relationship with your customer through great customer service and high quality work. Ideally, this will greatly benefit the dealership and service department for years to come. So if your manufacturer provides complimentary maintenance, it's important you take full advantage of that opportunity. But it's also critically important that you educate your customer on the advantages of coming to you for service after the complimentary maintenance is up. Because if you don't, there's one big factor that prevents customers from coming back when their free maintenance expires, and that's sticker shock. Because if they're not educated and prepared regarding customer paid maintenance, in some cases that can be a jarring and unpleasant experience for them, and is an important defection point for dealership service departments to be keenly aware of. Whether it's 3 years, 36,000 miles, or 10 years, 100,000 miles, retaining customers to your dealership service department post-warranty is a goldmine of revenue. It may have been just oil changes and tire rotations up to this point, but we're getting into the more lucrative repairs as the vehicle ages. Brakes, struts, timing belt, tires, and more. If you're successful at retaining customers until year 3, chances are you have their loyalty and they'll continue to return to you even for more expensive repairs. And this isn't business you want to miss out on. But every dealership knows they're at risk of losing the customer when the vehicle goes out of warranty. Regardless of what went wrong up until this point, the fix was typically free. But when the warranty expires, their peace of mind goes with it, and they begin to think more critically about where to take their vehicle. If they were only going to the dealership because it was free, it'll be natural for them to shop around for their most cost-effective options. By far, the biggest defection point from dealership service departments is tires. Dealerships still have a lot of ground to make up and a lot of opportunity when it comes to selling tires. According to a study by Modern Tire Dealer, new car dealerships handled just under 10% of the total tire market in 2019. And in our own study of customers who go to their dealerships for service, just 31% purchased their last set of tires there. That's right, less than a third of customers coming to your dealership for service will come to you for tires too. Further, our study identified that only 20% of customers that self-identified as extremely loyal to their dealership service department did not even know that their dealership sold tires. So make no mistake, tires are an enormous defection point for customers and for your dealership. Since many places that sell tires also provide other types of vehicle maintenance, you risk losing more than just the tire sale. When vehicle owners buy tires elsewhere, all too often your customer never returns to your dealership again for anything. What's more, the important role tires play in increasing your long-term retention rates will only become more substantial as the popularity of electric vehicles continues to rise. Because what's the item on an electric vehicle that requires the most maintenance? You got it, tires. Even if you have a great long-standing relationship with a loyal customer, unplanned repairs can throw a wrench into your retention. When it comes to any type of unplanned vehicle repairs for a customer, urgency sets in. Check engine lights, a tire blowout, brakes not functioning properly, all things that might cause a customer to go whichever shop is closest. Inevitably, when these events arise, convenience is the biggest factor for the driver. And sometimes the decision is out of the customer's control. When a customer's car breaks down, they may call a tow service that'll take them to the closest mechanic they're connected with instead of your dealership. That service center then gets the chance to upsell them or blow them away with a great experience or competitive pricing. Plus, your customer is now in that competitor's database for future marketing. So now that we've identified the 5 critical defection points for your dealership service department, the question is, what can you do about it? The answer is plenty. In the final part of our webinar today, we're going to provide you with some tips and best practices to ensure that you maximize your dealership's ability to retain as many customers as possible during these critical moments in your customer service journey. Let's start out with the first service visit. During the vehicle delivery process, it's not unusual for the customer to have downtime in your dealership when the vehicle is being prepped or the paperwork being prepared. Use that time proactively by formalizing the sales to service handoff and giving your brand new customer a service department tour. A simple tour of the service department to see your staff in action and become familiar with your service facility will put them at ease and set the stage for personalized quality care and get your relationship off to a great start. At the end of that tour is a great time to schedule their first service appointment. This interaction may be your last chance for a face-to-face, maybe the last chance for a face-to-face before their first scheduled maintenance is due. If they don't commit to the appointment on site, make it clear when they're due back and be vigilant with your reminders and follow-up. Chris, in your experience, what's the best way to leverage DriveSure in order to get customers returned specifically for this first service visit?
Well, another great way to reinforce this is with the DriveSure sales to service handoff. This customized mail piece arrives 7 to 10 days after the vehicle sale and reinforces the complimentary DriveSure benefits they received. And they simply need to return to the dealership for the first maintenance service, and those benefits will be automatically renewed. Does DriveSure help bring back customers for the first service visit? Well, remember the Cox study that we referred to at the top of the webinar, where only 28% of customers return to the dealership for service on average? When introduced as part of the vehicle purchase experience, DriveSure is instrumental in securing the first service visit, resulting in an average of 61% of vehicles returning.
As for the second critical defection point, when factory paid maintenance expires, we have 4 specific recommendations for you. First, and this may go without saying, but I'll say it anyway, provide exceptional service during the free maintenance period. Dealer service departments pride themselves on the quality of their work and service, and despite threats from low-cost competitors, superior work is really what builds trust and keeps customers coming back to you. Second, consider selling your own prepaid maintenance package on the service drive, particularly on the last free factory service. The purpose behind free maintenance is to get the customer in the habit of bringing their vehicle to the dealership for service. When it expires, this is yet another opportunity to show the customer what you, the dealer, are doing for them, as opposed to what the manufacturer had been doing for them. Consider introducing your own prepaid maintenance package and bundling it with add-on benefits and incentives, like those offered by DriveSure, that will make your package even more valuable to your customers and to your dealership. Third, continually educate your customers. Aside from really positioning your department and your technicians as the absolute go-to experts on the makes and models you service, make sure your customers understand the nuances of the maintenance package itself. Make it clear that it was provided by the manufacturer, not you, the dealer. But if your dealership does provide anything that will continue after the factory paid maintenance expires, such as incentives or benefits, make sure your customers know about those as well. In short, make sure your customers don't face any unpleasant surprises and teach them why getting service at your dealership is still the best choice, even when they're the ones paying for it. As for the customer experience, there are many services and amenities your customers expect these days. Chris, what are service customers telling us about the amenities they value most in their dealership service department?
Well, Bill, as part of our 2020 dealership service retention study, we surveyed nearly 2,000 dealership service customers from across the country and asked them to identify the 3 amenities that are most valuable to them from a list of 12 common and not so common offerings. After online appointment booking, complimentary road hazard tire coverage and renewable roadside assistance, both benefits provided through DriveSure, were the top amenities chosen. And when these DriveSure benefits are included in oil changes and scheduled maintenance services, customers return again and again to have them renewed. On average, 84% of customers say they are more likely to return for their next maintenance service because they receive DriveSure benefits from the dealership. We make it easy for the dealerships to communicate DriveSure by incorporating strategically placed communication tools designed to provide the right message at the right time. For starters, we work with the dealership to customize a detailed description of DriveSure on the repair order. Next, we provide point-of-sale education tools featuring service advisor countermats and traditional rack brochures, which are designed to jumpstart conversations with the customers about their service visit today. Helping your customers understand that they are getting so much more than an oil change each and every time they come to the dealership for scheduled maintenance, and that personalized customer engagement doesn't stop when they leave the dealership. Most dealers elect to provide each customer with their own personalized benefit sheet, customized for the dealership with a DriveSure sticker to be placed on the windshield by the technician. Every sticker features a DriveSure expiration date, providing added urgency to schedule their next service visit with you. Should they need to use roadside assistance, customers have the peace of mind knowing that they are protected, and you have the peace of mind knowing that they will be towed back to your dealership with up to 25 miles of complimentary towing coverage.
As we mentioned earlier, customer defection after the factory warranty expires is one of the most critical defection points because it's at that point that more lucrative repairs are typically needed, such as brakes, tires, timing belts, etc. Success in retaining customers at this point in the ownership life cycle really comes down to how well you've executed on the fundamentals during the factory warranty period. The good news is that you're successful in retaining customers. If you're successful until retaining customers until year 3, chances are you'll have their loyalty and they'll continue to return even for more expensive repairs. And this isn't business you want to miss out on. As you are aware, there's a perception among most customers that the cost of parts and service at a dealership is far more than at a local mechanic or mass merchandisers. This is simply not true. And if the customer is paying more in certain cases, it's heavily outweighed by the superior quality of work, factory parts, and customer service your dealership provides. Reinforcing this is essential to debunking this myth. Next, build a solid reputation during the warranty period. The best way to minimize defections and retain customers beyond the warranty period is to provide value. And if you start in year 3 of a 3-year warranty, it's way too late. Begin building value on day 1. Build trust and always educate the customer on not just what they need, but what they don't need. If a customer comes in for an oil change and tire rotation and they really don't need the rotation, tell them. They'll remember this. Leading with your strengths is also important. Helping customers understand the significant differences between your service department and independent shops is key. Factory trained technicians, factory parts, the latest technology, and factory support are all advantages that need to be communicated to the vehicle owner, not to mention superior service. Finally, while there's a lot that dealerships offer that the competition doesn't, these less tangible benefits like better quality can be harder to grasp for customers. DriveSure, only available to new car dealerships, gives you a clear set of benefits to provide at no cost to the customer, setting your dealership apart even more clearly. Combining your strengths with offering something the competition can't fits perfectly with what DriveSure can offer. Chris, how might this work for customers at risk of defection after the warranty expires?
So, Bill, our dealership partners routinely call upon us to provide assistance in communicating with their customers using a combination of DriveSure benefits and targeted postcard campaigns. Communicating these unique benefits to customers to keep them coming back post-factory warranty is a great way to ensure that they remain active with your service departments. As you're about to see, targeting customers in the post-warranty phase who are past due for service and at risk of defection is an investment that pays strong dividends. Let's take a quick look at one of our more recent campaigns. Mazda of Orland Park is a dealership we've worked with for a number of years, and they do a great job of communicating their strengths to their customer base at every opportunity. What makes them successful is how effective they are at the mundane task of collecting accurate email addresses. This allows them to communicate with over 90% of their customers via email, which maximizes their control of marketing to their customers at exactly the right time with exactly the right message. No doubt that contributes to their success of retaining 82% of their customer base for service at least once per year, with an outstanding rate of 90% of vehicle buyers coming in for their first service visit. Even more compelling is that every day they're seeing at least one customer rescued back to their dealership using the DriveSure benefits. As I've mentioned a few times, it's all about communicating the right message at the right time. For additional details on how Mazda of Orland Park accomplished this, you can download their case study called How Targeted Communication Resulted in 6 Times ROI from our website at drivesure.com/resources.
So finally, let's talk about tips for retaining customers for tires. Based upon the numbers we reviewed earlier, to me, tires are the lowest hanging fruit for making the biggest impact on retaining customers. That's not to say it's easy, but improving your customers' awareness of your tire capabilities can have the biggest impact on the long-term retention of your customers. So first of all, our first recommendation is to tell your customers about your tire offerings at the sales to service handoff. If a big cause of the issue is that customers aren't aware that you sell tires, tell them often and tell them early, because you can't predict when a customer will have a damaged tire. Secondly, remind your customers of the recommended maintenance schedule for the tires on their vehicle. With extended recommendations for oil change frequency, tire rotations may now be your best opportunity to see your customers more often. Once they get used to relying upon you for rotations, they'll be more likely to think of you when they need their tires replaced. It'll also feel more natural when you're the one recommending a new set of tires in the first place. Third, introduce value-added services focused on tires. Offering a renewable set of benefits included with oil changes and scheduled maintenance services that make it convenient and easy to come back to your dealership for help, like the road hazard tire protection available through DriveSure, is a great way to continually remind your customers you sell tires and encourages them to return to you again and again to keep this coverage in force. Finally, we recommend setting up a geofencing campaign that targets your nearest tire competitors. Using this approach to catch customers at the right place at the right time keeps your dealership top of mind when your customer's buying intent is highest. For example, when they're on the property of one of your competitors. Chris, would you mind sharing with us how DriveSure makes it easy to implement a geofencing campaign?
Of course. Geofencing comes with the DriveSure Digital Pass and is one more way that we strategically communicate with your customers in the right way at the right time and can make a big impact on retaining them. Through the Digital Pass, we have the ability to communicate directly to the customer should they arrive at one of your targeted competitors. With any DriveSure implementation, you can identify up to 10 specific points that you want to target in order to get your message in front of your customer before they buy, prompting them with a lock screen message that repositions your dealership as the better option so they don't purchase elsewhere. In addition, the Digital Pass helps customers know exactly what their benefits are, when they expire, how to renew them, and most importantly, what to do when they need to use them. Providing these benefits drives your service department retention, but when a customer needs to use them, it really solidifies the relationship. We regularly reach out to customers who have utilized the road hazard portion of their DriveSure benefits. And we take great pride in reporting that 95% of customers who have had to use this benefit indicated they are now more likely to return to their servicing dealership for maintenance. Luke Ammon of Kastner Honda shared the quote that you see on the screen here in his case study, how one parts and service director wins the tire game. Luke talks about his ability to use DriveSure as a tool to triple his tire sales. Read more about Luke's experience by downloading the Kastner Honda case study from drivesure.com/resources. Bill?
As Chris mentioned at the top of our webinar, when it comes to unplanned repairs and breakdowns, an immediate urgency is created and the vehicle owner has to act now. Who the customer calls for roadside assistance at this moment of truth can mean the difference between retaining that customer and never seeing them again. From your perspective as a dealership, who do you want your customer to call? A local towing service that probably brings them back to the tower's preferred garage? Factory roadside assistance? If the customer still has active coverage, at least they're towed back to a franchise dealer, but if their breakdown location is closer to another dealership, it usually means they won't be towed back to you. You've heard Chris and I say several times today that ensuring your dealership remains top of mind is key to retaining your customers during these key defection points. That's why our maintenance reminder sticker is so effective. Every time your customer gets in the car, they notice your dealership's name and our nationwide roadside assistance information. For your dealership to remain top of mind, all your customer has to do is look up, call our toll-free number, and they would be towed back to you from as far away as 25 miles, even if it means driving by another dealership. Remaining top of mind with your customers throughout these defection points and getting started with DriveSure at your dealership is easier than ever. Chris?
You're right, Bill. It is easier than ever to introduce DriveSure into the dealership. Our newest plans allow you to subscribe to our services and provide unlimited activations to all service and sales customers. There are two cost components to every DriveSure subscription: marketing and administrative services and a claims accrual. You can get started on our fully digital platform for as low as $9.95 per month for a single point dealership with one DMS connection. That gives you unlimited activations for your entire dealership. You can then enhance your digital subscription with personalized printed marketing material, which gives you access to the windshield stickers, benefit sheets, sales to service mailers, and more. Your DriveSure representative can discuss this in more detail with you as you customize the best experience for your customers. Next, we work with you to establish a claims accrual to cover the cost of your rescues. The amount set aside in your claims accrual is always 100% dealer funds, and we will give you back every penny that you do not use. As you get started with us, we recommend setting aside about $1,000 into your claims accrual for every 500 activations you expect to have per month. We'll adjust as your tire claims experience unfolds so that you're only accruing the amount that's absolutely necessary. Most importantly, we work very closely with each and every dealer to design an implementation plan that is fiscally responsible and within your budgetary requirements. Now that we've talked a little bit extensively about the defection points in the customer journey, along with some tips and the investments you can use to help address them, I'd like to take just a few more seconds to talk about the DriveSure difference. Engaging with DriveSure starts with working together with you to define the right mix of benefit levels and maintenance intervals. We then customize their offering for your dealership and your customers. We'll train your team on how to talk about DriveSure benefits, how to answer customer questions, and how to file a claim when a customer is rescued back. We'll also equip you with marketing materials that fit with the subscription level you requested. After DriveSure is up and running in your dealership, your dedicated dealer support team will be there to answer any questions you have along the way. As customers come in for their routine maintenance service, they'll get introduced to their new DriveSure benefit for the first time. These benefits will expire once your defined interval is up, and they'll need to come back to you to renew them. Since DriveSure is specifically designed to bring customers to your dealership when they experience an unexpected issue, this maintains your service department as the trusted provider for unplanned repairs and tires, securing revenue that otherwise might not make it to your door. When you need to file a claim to get compensated for delivering DriveSure benefits, simply log into our online dealership portal, follow our easy claims process. Of course, our team is just a phone call away if you need any assistance. Now, because your service department is the only place a customer can get DriveSure, they are more likely to return back to you to get their vehicle serviced and renew these benefits. If you want to remind them of their upcoming or recently past need for service, we make that easy too. Our marketing solutions allow you to send personalized reminders for them to renew their benefits on time. We're always excited to share with dealerships the difference DriveSure is making, so we provide operational reporting and metrics showing DriveSure's impact, from rescue details to retention to renewal rates and improvements on visit frequency. Everything you need to justify your return on investment is made available to you. As we wrap up our session today, we'd like to briefly share with you some of our key success metrics from Lilliston Ford. You can find all of these details and more by downloading the case study on how they grew their business at drivesure.com/resources. Lilliston Ford has experienced a substantial growth in their overall business by as much as 33% over the past 3 years, due in large part to the significantly loyal customer base, with over 74% of their vehicle owners returning more than 2 times per year. In fact, the average time between service visits at Lilliston Ford is just 140 days. With over 700 monthly DriveSure activations, their opportunities continue to grow month after month.
So on behalf of Chris and I, we really appreciate your time and participation in our webinar today. If you have any questions, feel free to enter them in the questions section of the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll do our best to answer them. We do have a few of them here. So let's start with this one, Chris. How is DriveSure different than the F&I programs we sell?
Great starting question. So oftentimes, many of the F&I products are sold, such as like tire and wheel packages or extended warranties that will incorporate elements of the DriveSure benefits. What makes DriveSure unique is that the benefits themselves are only good and only available at the dealership that provides it to them. Secondly, our communication structure allows for the dealership to make sure that customers are aware that they have that benefit and incentivized to use them. Oftentimes, the incentive packages that are built into the F&I products go forgotten because they don't get that frequent reminder, that frequent notification that it can be used. So those are just a couple of ways that we differentiate. Another is we actually have some crosswalks that we train F&I managers on to help them understand how to use the DriveSure benefits as a springboard to sell tire and wheel packages and other benefits that the customer should be purchasing at the time that they're purchasing that vehicle. So really what it comes down to is that branding and loyalty of the dealership and making sure your customers know what makes you different. So thanks for that question.
Thank you, Chris. Let's see here. Do customers need to get DriveSure at the time of vehicle sale in order to be eligible to renew when they come back for service?
So absolutely not. They do not have to get the vehicle at the, they don't have to get the benefits at the time of the vehicle sale. They can get them when they come in for their first service. They can also continue to reactivate benefits every time they visit the dealership for that maintenance interval. Many of our dealership partners will incorporate DriveSure as part of the vehicle sale, both new and pre-owned. It is a substantial benefit for those pre-owned vehicle purchasing customers. However, we do have many dealerships who just elect to provide DriveSure as part of the service to service experience to ensure that they're recapturing those customers, especially those post-factory warranty customers who are at the highest risk of defection.
Great. So
hopefully anything you want to add, Bill?
No, I think you got it, Chris. Closely related to that is another question on, are there any minimum standards for tires to get DriveSure road hazard coverage?
Yeah, so as we mentioned in part of the meat of the presentation, every tire must be inspected that rolls through your service drive to ensure that that customer is qualified for the benefits. We want to ensure that your team has a reason to inspect that tire and document the tread depth and condition. What that means is that each tire that's on the vehicle should have a minimum of 430 seconds of tread depth and be in good condition. That description and statement should appear on the multi-point inspection or even in the technician's notes just for ease of reference later on, so that if that tire does not meet those specific requirements, your service team now has a justification to sell that customer a new tire right then and there.
Super. The next question is, you said you provide up to 25 miles of complimentary towing. What if my customer is out of the area or on vacation?
Excellent question. So with all of our customers who have active DriveSure benefits, your dealership is designated as the preferred tow-to location. If your customer's breakdown is in the metropolitan area and it happens to be 28 miles away instead of 25, there may be a 3-mile overage that would be charged to the customer at their expense. So let's say that the prevailing mileage charge is $5, they would be charged $15 for that over mileage tow. Usually that's something that we can work with the dealership to overcome. And given the fact that you always have funds available in your claims accrual to cover those funds, to cover those excess, we can certainly work with you to accommodate any reimbursement that might be necessary there. Let's say, however, that customer is far, far away. Perhaps your dealership is in Las Vegas and the customer happens to be in Utah at the time. In that situation, well, then you would probably expect the customer would likely be towed to the nearest authorized manufacturer service facility. So if it's a General Motors dealership, that would be towed to a General Motors store, a Nissan dealership to another Nissan store, and so on. So, and no circumstance would we ever leave the customer stranded or advise the customer that they're just not, there's no coverage available to them.
Okay, looks like we have two more questions. First one is, we're a Ford dealership and we also sell Ford medium duty trucks. Can they be covered by DriveSure?
I believe they can, and Bill, I know that you worked on this project most recently, so I'm going to let you answer that.
Yes, they certainly can, and our roadside assistance network does cover medium duty trucks, so we are able to handle those up to not semi trailers, but just below that. I can't recall what the classification number is, but we are able to handle medium duty trucks for those dealerships who do sell those.
So another question just came in. You talk about truck tires. What $150 won't cover the cost of a tire for a truck. So right. How does the DriveSure benefit help in that situation?
Yeah, so the benefit of having a custom design program for the dealership and defining the appropriate benefit level for your customers, your vehicle types, is key. So because that dealer claims reserve is your money, we can define what those benefits level are that are appropriate for your vehicles. So even though our most popular benefit is $150, there are some dealers that have higher tire limits because of their customer base.
That's a great point. One of the other things that I'd like to say in addressing that specific question is, I often say that $150 is 150 reasons to not go to the nearest tire retailer, but to drive that customer back to the dealership. So while it might not cover the entirety of the tire bill, it covers such a significant portion that is often hard for any tire retailer, even Costco, to discount the tires that much to get that customer back to you.
Yep, good point, Chris. So finally, the last question is, how do I enroll my customers with DriveSure? Through a website, or how do they get coverage?
So as we referred to it in the setup slide, it's now easier than ever to incorporate DriveSure into a dealership. You can register rather customers by your DMS connection. So we would simply work with the dealership to define the appropriate opcodes that would qualify as an active opcodes that qualify the customer as being eligible for DriveSure benefits. We would capture those opcodes and automate the communication process so customers are alerted after the service, after the repair order closes, or in real time. Every service advisor, every dealership designated personnel will have access to our DriveSure online portal at dealer.drivesure.com that they log into, which allows that person to actually put in the customer's VIN number and current odometer reading. We sync up with the DMS to identify and confirm that that is indeed the customer that should be activated for benefits. And then that benefit can be activated right there on the spot. The personalized benefit sheet can be printed out. The access to the windshield sticker can also be generated. So right there on the service drive or in the sales office, activation occurs immediately. There's no need to call us. There's no need to call us even if there's a claim for pre-authorization. Everything to maximize and maintain your DriveSure experience can be done right through the portal.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And that was our concluding question. So once again, thank you, Chris, and thank you all of you for attending our DriveSure webinar today. This recording will be available in, I believe it's within about 48 hours or so, and you'll get an email informing you of that. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We thank you for your time today and have a great rest of your day.
Take care, everybody. Thanks again.